Hello, accounts people. Time to have a look at written answers, starting and focusing on level 2. So, when they're answered correctly, they're a good source of marks, all levels of AAT. Level 2, it might only be 12-15% of the exam, but level 3, they're in the synoptic exam and the tasks are being done worse and worse. And at level 4, written task in every paper, they're the worst done tasks. Mainly down to a lack of practice, and if you don't practice, you can't get the feedback and the coaching from tutors to improve. What I do is 90% of the time, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing to cross out. Never see a red pen or anything. It's always what could have been added to improve the answers. Bit of phraseology, bit of better wording, a bit better structure. And that means that at the end of an exam, if you've got 10-15 minutes left, you can go to your written answers, change a line or two, get an extra mark or two. So structure is important. Good opening sentence goes a long way to good 4 marks answer. This morning I was given some feedback very early this morning, and it was okay answer. Try this, try that. Suddenly it's a brilliant answer. So think, okay, why are we doing this? Well, anywhere in the sector, you've got to communicate sooner or later. It could be a meeting verbally, telephone to client, telephone to a customer, telephone to a supplier, or it could be email, written letter, and as you go up the chain, directors or shareholders and the AGM. Level 2 will really stick to colleagues and sometimes customers. Level 4, we're looking at shareholders or management meetings on the management papers. So level 2, right, so first of all they have bullet points. Complete the task in that order, don't try and change the order around. You can use subheadings, it breaks the answer up, makes it nice and easy to read. And the introduction always has marks to it. If it's a 12-mark question, 2 of the marks will be for the introduction. And although you are just repeating the information in the question, it's important, it sets you up for a good answer, and it's 2 marks. Make sure you understand what you're trying to do. Explain, describe and list. List would just be a list, bullet points, word or two. Describe would be something along the lines of fixed costs don't change with output. Explanation, we're going to give a reason or analysis and a couple of examples. If it's only asking a list, don't waste your time explaining. Grammar, punctuation, spelling, very important. 2 marks again, 2 or 3 marks sometimes out of 12 for grammar, punctuation and spelling. If it's difficult to understand, it's difficult to give you the marks. So make sure you're using formal language, no colloquialisms, no text speaks. Careful about the use of acronyms like LOL or whatever, and abbreviations. I've, should have been, I have. You might get away with don't, but do not is better, and can't should be cannot, etc. But you will use acronyms in the text naturally. These are accounting ones: LIFO, AAT, CPD. Look at who you're communicating to. If you're explaining to a junior colleague what LIFO means, you will have to say last in, first out. But other people will know naturally what it means. Don't be afraid to add numbers if needed. Some other questions refer to the table above in the same question. Occasionally students think a written answer has to be all words. Well, it doesn't. We put numbers in, percentages, calculations to explain what we're talking about. Is there a perfect answer? No, just ones that are good enough to pick up 4 marks. Plenty of them do get 4 marks. It's not like a rarity. In fact, they may even be worth more than the 4 marks, but you can only get the maximum number of marks. They're all marked anonymously. They don't know who they're marking. They don't know the name. They don't know where. They don't know anything about the student. Could even be one of their own students. If there's 2 boxes, they go off to different examiners, so no C above or C below. You need to repeat yourself. Examiners always seem to have a very negative response to grammar and spelling if it makes it difficult for them to understand. If they can't understand, they can't give them you the mark for the explanation. All the publishers and AAT in fact give samples, and some give the mark schemes. Their answer always short and sharp, just enough to get 4 marks, and written with no constraint on time and by a group of people often together. But still, I can always add a useful extra point or two. I can always improve the publishers' answers, and of course in the exam you have got a time constraint. Don't try and be as concise because it takes time to reduce your wording to their kind of level. You're under pressure, and only practice, practice, more practice with lots of good feedback will improve. So the one I've got here is based upon a Kaplan practice paper. Once upon a time it was a group exercise in class. If you brought it up again and added a bit more to it and improved it, and I can add a few words even since I put it into this PowerPoint. When we finished the class originally it was good enough to get 4 marks, and it was about half the length. So just typical AAT question. They can always be improved, they can always be made better. So this is the heading bit, this is the introduction bit, or executive summary, just what we're going to do. So now you know what the question's about. And then again, fairly routine explanation of fixed costs, nothing superb about it. Subheading helps the marker, helps the structure a little bit, looks nice on the screen. And then variable cost, again, fairly routine one. Total cost changes with output levels, unit cost, example, and then the explanation part. And then semi-variable has got fixed and variable, so not surprising, takes a few more words to explain. And the example, you've even got to show the difference between the standing charge, the fixed part, and the variable is the machinery. The more they use, the higher the electricity cost in this case. Even a brownie point possibly for mentioning the high-low method, although it won't necessarily stop. If you've already got 4 marks for that part, you can't get any more marks. And step costs, less likely to occur at level 2, but there's nothing wrong with having a good explanation of step cost ready in case it comes up in the exam. And then usually a different task by itself, so the behaviour one seems to be the most common that's come up over the last couple of years. Students hate getting LIFO, FIFO, AVCO. This is just one part of FIFO. It's about profits. Does it increase or decrease if the prices are going up? So full logical explanation, so different structure here. You issue the oldest stock to production, that's part of cost of sales. If they're rising, it's the cheapest items compared with the other 2 methods where you issue the most recent or an average. Therefore, the cost of goods sold is lower, profits are higher, and also, of course, could even be a completely different question, a higher closing inventory, because they could have asked for the value of closing inventory instead of the effect on profits. Hopefully, nice little sentence to finish off, and kind regards would do. And then a lot more words are needed there, but that's a clue sometimes. It's well beyond the full marks. No harm in practicing when you've got the time to higher standards, and when you come into the exam, you know you're not going to write the same level, but you've got so used to writing good answers, you haven't got to stress out about it. And obviously you're going up to higher levels, it's good practice to push yourself to the best possible written one. So all I can say is good luck, may the tasks that come up the ones that you have practiced hard on.